Hi, I'm Sarah Nillis. I'm the former director of the Oregon Association of Student Councils, and we were on the front lines receiving requests from students, educators, and parents regarding mental health tools. Work2BWell is a direct response from that community request resources after a rise in teen suicide here in the Pacific Northwest. Answering the call, I joined with Dr. Robin Henderson and other Providence behavioral health specialists to ask teens a pivotal question. How do you want to transform mental health? Their answers became a vision for Work2BWell, a program to activate teens and provide key mental health resources to the education world. Work2BWell was born out of the partnership with Providence, OASC, the Wellbeing Trust, and #ICanHelp. As Providence leads this work, I see the potential for Work2BWell to change the conversation on mental health and reduce the deaths of despair across the country. I have 4 incredible high school students with me today, and I'm going to I lied. I'm the 4. I have 3. I'm the 4th. I have 3 incredible high school students with me here today, and I am going to let them introduce themselves.
Okay, hi guys, I'm going to start off. My name is Lena, and I'm a junior at Sherwood High School, which is a suburb of Portland in Oregon. I've been with Work2BWell since the very beginning, about 2 years ago, when I first heard about it at an OASC summer camp during a legislative workshop. We have seen a dramatic surge in teen suicide since the year 2000, and the isolation and trauma caused by COVID-19 only magnifies these concerns. As we see a sharp rise in teen mental health crises and suicide, we need clinically vetted tools to meet urgent teen needs now, whether that's in person or virtually.
Hello, everybody. My name is Finn Jacobson. I'm a junior at Rex Putnam High School, also in a suburb just outside of Portland. I'm also a volunteer with Youthline, which is a teen helpline, and I was approached about joining the Work2BWell team about 2 years ago. After a lot of thought and a lot of back and forth, I decided to apply, and I've never regretted that decision. Work2BWell creates a space for teens to offer peer-to-peer support. Our social media platforms and Talk2BWell podcasts are bridging the conversations around difficult topics, increasing mental health awareness, and activating student leaders to address the most pressing concerns their classmates carry.
Hey there guys, my name is Leanna Smith and I'm a sophomore at 12 in high school, also a suburb of Portland. I have a passion for improving mental health and I'm so excited to be joining this group today. I've seen Work2BWell educate and activate student leaders, helping teens go from victims and survivors to advocates, as well as fight for legislation that defends the mental health of Oregon students and soon to be national. Today, we're going to share with you the story of Work2BWell, showcase an example curriculum lesson, and invite you to join the movement.
Here at Work2BWell, we focus our energy and resources into 3 key areas: access, education, and activation.
Firstly, we provide free access to key resources through our digital platform, which can be found at www.work2bwell.org and will soon be in app form. The hub holds our curriculum, articles, podcasts, and video series that put a spotlight on mental health to both raise awareness and respond to critical needs.
Secondly, Work2BWell provides education to school professionals for curriculum use, and it offers support at the state, regional, and national levels.
And lastly, Work2BWell activates students like you and me through our Student Advocacy Council model, which in Oregon launched students to national attention for their creation and advocacy of a mental health bill. That bill passed, giving students in our state mental health days. Now, when students are struggling and experiencing a mental health crisis, they can take a mental health day, just as if they would take a sick day if they had the flu. This also raises awareness for schools and aids in tracking mental health needs and opportunities for intervention and increased student support.
Awesome. Our curriculum is crucial to the Work2BWell program and model. It's free for download on our digital platform, and the modules cover topics specifically built for the teen focus groups. You can find it here on the slide that we're showing on where to go to work2bwell.org. And here are the curriculum modules.
Anxiety and depression.
Self-care and mindfulness.
Stress.
And we also have eCPR, emotional CPR. And those are just some of the topics covered. We also have modules in development for the urgent needs around critical conversations, structural racism, intergenerational trauma, and grief.
On our digital platform, you're going to find all the resources needed to implement our curriculum as a teacher or to leverage this material as a student facilitator to provide peer-to-peer support to others. You can always visit our website in the chat and click on our curriculum tab.
Right now, let's walk through our favorite lesson together, self-care and mindfulness.
We are going to develop an emotional first aid kit and reflect on our mental health journey.
What's super exciting about this lesson is that as we teach it, it's for the educators in the room, but it's also for you as the students in the room. We have the students here with us because we want to show you how they can teach this lesson and how you can do the same for your peers. So just like when you're physically hurt, there are all kinds of first aid responses. Usually I run and scream for the hills, but if you were calmer than I was in an emergency situation, you would probably, if you got a cut, you would probably clean it carefully with soap and water, apply antibiotic gel, and then you would go get a Band-Aid if you needed one to protect the cut, let it heal properly. You know the procedures. If somebody was having a major medical crisis, you call 911, you go through the steps. We know what to do. But if the injury, and again, if the injury is real serious, we know to call for help. But in the same way, we need to respond to our mental health by providing the same level of attention to our emotional well-being, and we do that through self-care. Self-care is not selfish. It's taken me a long time to learn that, and I'm still working on it. Self-care is making sure that when you have an emotional cut, you can take care of your mental health. Self-care doesn't mean that you have to spend a lot of money on bath bombs and other products or spoiling yourself rotten. It's paying attention to yourself, recognizing emotions, how you feel, and knowing what we need to do in order to promote personal healing rather than harm. And this lesson also invites us to connect with not only each other, but with our senses. And our senses guide us in creating an emotional first aid kit. And that way you have those go-to tools on hand to help ground yourself and bring yourself back to a sense of calm.
Going into that, before we get into this lesson, it's important that we're getting grounded together and thinking about how can we prepare to be mindful as we open up this vulnerable conversation and think about our own mental health needs as well as others. So what I'm going to have you do, if you're sitting, then just make sure that your feet are flat on the ground. And if you're standing like me, make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart. And we're going to run through a couple rounds of something called square breathing, which if you don't know what it is, I'm going to explain it. But it is the holy grail for handling anxiety, for getting grounded, and for being prepared to be in this space. All right. So if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes and just start. Let's take a couple deep breaths in and out. In and out. Okay, and moving from that, we're going to add some structure in there. So what I'm going to have you do is breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. Ready? In, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And just take a couple minutes. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to either do that on your own or do whatever breathing pattern feels right for you. But as you're thinking about how we're going to get into this space and how we're going to talk about some challenging topics for a lot of people, when you breathe out, let go of something that's acting as an obstacle for you today. When you breathe in this preparedness and this sense of peace and structure and belonging. And release all of the negative energy that might be blocking you from being at your most efficient. And I'll just give you a couple seconds to get grounded as an individual and be ready to be in this space. Now that we're in a more mindful place, connected to our body and our breath, let's consider 6 ways that we can offer ourselves self-care. These 6 things are going to be building blocks for your emotional first aid kit.
Yeah, So I feel so calm. Thank you, Finn. I get to start us off with the first thing that goes in your toolkit, and that is sounds. I think using sounds is my favorite thing in my emotional toolkit, so let's add it to yours. To add a sound to your toolkit, you need to think about some of your favorite songs. Do they make you happy? Do they make you sad? Think about those kind of songs that elicit those raw emotions. We all have our go-to songs, but sometimes we listen to songs that only increase the feeling we have now. We need to think about the sounds that make us feel who we are, that make us feel alive, resilient, like you can get back on your feet and conquer any challenge. Those are the songs and the sounds that you want in your emotional toolkit playlist. Only you know what belongs in that toolkit. For some of my friends, this is country music. For others, it's death metal. Only you know what belongs on that list. Choose songs that bring you up, keep the list fresh, and whenever you want a new song, just add it in. For me, I have a record that my grandparents gave me. It's some old Hawaiian music this way, and it makes me really happy when I listen to it, and it just makes me feel really good. What about you, Leanna?
Well, my favorite thing to do is I have a happy playlist, so it has all my favorite songs that make me happy.
That's awesome. I listen to, I have Spotify, and oftentimes I listen to I just random playlists. I don't pick certain ones. Mood Booster is one of them. But I'm the one that likes country. So lately I am super into Old Dominion. I don't know if you're familiar with Old Dominion or not, but I love it. And I think I also, that's wrong. It continued. But I love Old Dominion also because one of our former campers from years ago actually works for them now. So I think it's probably I like them because there's a special connection. Plus, they're awesome.
That's so awesome,
cool.
Sarah.
I love connection.
I love listening to music and hearing the sounds, but you know what almost makes me feel even a little bit better related to sounds? I love playing instruments, creating that own sound, expressing how I feel. You know, I have a funny little instrument here, a kalimba. These are getting more and more popular. It has an angelic music box sound. I love playing this kalimba all the time. I play it when I'm sad, I play it when I'm happy, and somehow it just leaves me feeling a little bit better. So if you're somebody who's inclined to instruments, think about how you can leverage the use of that instrument to uplift your mood and leave you feeling more and more safe.
Those are all so great, and those are our personal sounds, but you get to think about what goes in your toolkit and what your sounds are. Next, are you looking for another favorite? I can pass it on in.
All right. Yeah, and the second thing that we're going to put in our emotional toolkit, and personally one of my favorites, is sights. So what's crazy about living in this time right now is that we don't have to travel the world to see amazing things. In fact, I would argue that most, if not all of us, are carrying the world in our pocket right now on our phone. So what are the images on your phone that make you smile? For me, I know it's pictures of my cat, Bianca. I have pictures of her everywhere, printed out all over my room, on my camera roll, and every photo album I have. And one thing that I love that I've recently done is I've decorated my room so that wherever I look, it brings me joy. Check out these lights. If nothing else, create that photo library on your phone and look through your recent photos and find the ones that make you smile and feel good. That way, will you have something to look at when you're feeling down or maybe when you're feeling tired to energize you and bring you back up. Moving on to the third item in our toolkit, we're going to talk about touch. So what do you touch that brings you comfort? For me, it's this very comfy, cozy jacket that I bought at a thrift store about a year ago. I love how it feels. It's heavy. I'm always prepared for winter. You know, living in Oregon, it rains all the time. It's cold 9 months out of the year. And so I need just a nice, sturdy jacket like this. For you, it could be a pet. I know that I love touching my cat's fur. I think it's so soft. The smoothness of a baseball, if that's your favorite sport. Think about a soccer ball, basketball, whatever you love. For some of us, it might even be a weighted blanket that gives extra comfort because it feels like a hug. Whatever it is for you, make sure that you're adding these items to your toolkit too, because touch is really important for a lot of people. Passing it on to Leanna.
Thank you so much, Finn. So the fourth thing that we're going to have in our toolkit are our favorite smells. So what smells make you guys happy? Personally, my favorite scent that truly makes me feel alive and calm is lavender. Lavender brings me back to my favorite memories because this scrunchie right here has been with me through a select few of my happiest moments, including summer camps, sleepovers, and holidays spent with my family. one sniff of lavender is so deeply nostalgic. It reminds me that there are beautiful moments that I've been through. The feelings I felt in those events will always be with me and will be felt again in the future or whenever lavender is smelled. Your favorite smell doesn't have to be a flower like mine, though. People like all kinds of things. Some people like the smell of new tires, the smell of popcorn or cotton candy. Think of a smell that is comforting and grounding for you, and that you have easy access to. And yes, this is going to be in your toolbox. So, what are some of your guys' favorite scents?
Okay,
You
I've
know,
got.
We're all so excited.
We all want to share.
You know, Sarah first.
Okay.
Sarah,
oh
you
boy,
want
the
to go?
wonders of
Yeah,
flowers.
mine is it's called it's by Aloha Orchid. So it's, to me, it smells tropical, like the beach. Right now I wish I was traveling and I'm not, but this makes it smell like I went on a quick vacation.
I love that, Sarah. And I love that you bring up incense because, you know, Leanna, you actually reminded me, I think it's time, don't try this at home. I think it's time to light some incense. I light incense in my room almost every day. And I just love how it makes my room smell. Burning incense is
You
nice
did
and
it.
easy. This is lavender scent. So what I do, I just blow it out. I let the smoke run throughout my room. It makes my room not only smell good, but also helps me feel really safe, really good in this space. I'm going to stick this on the incense holder so I don't start a fire.
Safety first. Always safety first.
Yeah. For me, I've got a lot of essential oils that I really love. I have a diffuser. I really like this one, Sweet Orange, I think. Yeah, this one's definitely one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay, I get to the next one, which is another one of my favorites, people or loved ones. These are key connections with people that you can always go to for support. Think about who you rely on for support and encouragement on your darkest days. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend, or even a teacher. It could possibly be a fuzzy friend too. For me, I like to reach out to my sister or my best friend, but sometimes when I really need some good support, I go to my dog, which is totally valid too. It's important to remember that there's always a person in your corner who wants to support you, that you can always rely on them when you need to. Even if they can't solve how you're feeling in the moment, they listen, and having someone that will listen without judgment and with a huge heart is always welcome. So while you guys think about your person in your toolbox, I can show you some. I've already showed this one, but this is my dog, and I've got a picture of my family. What about you, Finn?
Okay, so for people, you know, I love going to just like my closest friends, love that human connection. My family, I have so many friends and people that I feel like I can talk to. And you know, you mentioned animals. I've got to say my cat again. Bianca is such an amazing source of support. A quick cuddle or pet with her will just change my day.
Awesome. I think we're sensing a theme: family, friends, and pets, which is what I have too. So this is my puppy. He was a puppy. He's 8.5 now, but he is a therapy dog, and so he does his job very well. His name is Jax, and then my dad, and he's awesome, and I call him all the time. So that's actually one of the things I miss because I'm not commuting to work anymore during these times. And so that's when I used to talk to my dad. So now I'm having to make intentional time to still call him because that's really important to do.
Yeah, once again, family is definitely a great thing to go to when you're not feeling your best. And so I always go to my cousin, actually. Me and my cousin are really, really close. And we know everything about each other. We always know how to make each other feel better.
That's awesome.
Great. And
Wonderful.
now I have the last thing we're going to be putting in our toolkit, which is action. So sitting and thinking about our problems sometimes just makes things feel bigger and bigger. Taking action, even if it's in small ways, can help us to gain control over our emotions. For example, if I'm mad, running helps. If I'm sad, I cuddle up with my 2 puppies and watch our favorite movies. Sometimes even cleaning is an action in my toolbox. Even when I can't solve a problem, it makes me feel productive. It reminds me that positive actions help pave the way for positive consequences, like keep my room clean. What are your guys' favorites?
I love walking my dog, who I mentioned earlier, when it's not raining outside and here in Oregon. I love cooking as well, but not when I have to. I like cooking when I can, not because somebody thinks I need to feed them. But then I also love reading. This is a new book. Actually, it's a great one to read by, it's called Choose to Be You. And it has to do with mental health as well. But Reading is something that I love to do. So there's a lot of things. It depends on the week.
That's awesome, Sarah. Are you more of a baker or like a chef? Which one's your favorite?
Yeah, I'm not a baker. I'm not a baker.
I'm gonna come to your house for dinner.
The cookie dough never makes it to the oven.
I can go next.
Never quite worked out right.
True. I really like to write poetry. I have a little journal that I write in, and I both journal, but I mostly write poetry. I think it's really calming to put your feelings on paper, and it's one of my favorite things to do.
Yes, Lena, that's so awesome. For me, it's about getting organized. This is my trusty notebook. It's actually a notebook that works so that I can fill this out, microwave it, and it'll be blank again. This is my holy grail in life. Anytime I need to think about something, process through something, I put it down on paper. Think about all of the different things I need to organize, set my priorities, make goals. A notebook, a nice notebook, or a Google Drive, a Google Doc, however that works for you, is a lifesaver.
The best.
I hear you on that. I make lists for lists for lists. So
I love lists. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Well, we have covered all 6 steps in your emotional first aid toolkit. And like any toolkit, it only helps if you use it. So if you were in the classroom together right now, and some of you may be, and some of you may not be, but if you were, I would ask you probably to share an example of your toolkit with others. If there's a chat going on, you could share that. You could jot down your toolkit. You could text with a friend what your toolkit is. Sketch pictures. There's a lot of different options, but I would have you share your toolkit with others. And by sharing, what we do is we normalize the conversation and the idea that it's okay to have bad days. And it's also important that we know how to manage those days and how to bring ourselves back up. I often talk about it as like below the line, above the line. And when I'm below the line, I need to know how to trampoline myself back above. It's okay to stay below the line a little bit, but it's better to live above the line. And that's the way it helps my brain to think, is that this toolkit is to help me trampoline back up and get to a healthier place. And that's just something I think about when this toolkit. So, but there's other ways of sharing our toolkits too.
So we've seen a variety of ways that our friends have made their toolkits together, such as during Girl Scout troop meetings and sports practices.
During theater rehearsals, church youth group even.
So randomly being together, talking or your family.
And as we work together to destigmatize mental health conversations within our own communities, and we hope that students are activated. That's you right here, are activated to take on leadership roles, just like the 3 students here today have done, and respond to the most pressing issues at your schools, in your communities, and even statewide.
We hope that you've learned and grown with us today and are excited to think about what information you can share, clubs you can create, people you can connect with, and actions you can take to continue normalizing conversations around mental health as a diverse and multifaceted issue.
Wherever you, your friends, and or your school and community are on their mental health journey,
Work2BWell offers a place
to grow,
and a movement to launch. Join us.
Awesome. We hope that something that we said today resonated with you and also inspired you to take some action. And if you were to go to our website and the resources page, you will see there's so much there at work2BWell.org. I mean, not only are there the curriculum that we showed one lesson, but there's going to be a lot more. We also have Talk to Be Well podcast, which a lot of the students here today have been featured on, as well as other topics. So we have the and we'll go to those are the lessons that are coming soon: structural racism that I talked about earlier, and grief and critical conversations. But we are also, this document is up there on what's next. what you can do. There's so many ideas. These are just a few. You can post on social media with hashtag Work2BWell. You can share, and we also have social media posts ready to go at work2bewell.org. There's a mental health summit. You could host one for your school, your community, with your, and we have a checklist that tells you step by step exactly how to create a mental health summit, either in person or virtually. Our students here actually are working on one coming up, and we're excited for that. And I think, and maybe some of you have done that. We also have how to put on a voices assembly, which helps students connect with one another and know each other's story. And you could start a Work2BWell student advisory council at your school or a club. And maybe you already have a wellness club. And if you do, then what are some other things that you can do? And our website has a lot of that. And we also, what can you do with advocacy, legislation? So there are just a few ideas to get you started. There are so many ways that you can continue to work to be well and join us in this movement. We would love to hear your ideas. So again, continue to share, continue to post, and let us know how we can continue to support you here at Work2BWell. Any final thoughts from the three of you on something that you love about Work2BWell and or something that you're working on personally in order to share with our audience today before we say goodbye?
Yeah, Sarah, I think that my advice to anybody watching today, and even to everybody else in this little virtual room that we've created, is take care of yourself. This is important work, especially those of us involved with Work2BWell or would be. And it's important that we are taking care of ourselves, because we can't take care of other people until we focus on our own mental health and make sure that we are in the space to offer that support. That's my 2 cents.
Pretty wise.
Yeah, also with me too, I've learned over the years, even over quarantine, that it is totally okay to just set aside time just for yourself. And you're not being selfish, like Sarah said. It's like taking care of your both physical health and mental health. You guys have to take care of both. And yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. I would just echo exactly what they said and say that make sure that now you have those 6 things in your toolkit. Make sure to use them. I know I use mine all the time, and they are definitely helpful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so impressed with the three of you. Thank you for joining us and helping lead and hopefully inspiring so many people watching this that you have a voice and it's powerful. And this is going to change our world as we continue to destigmatize the conversations around mental health and learn to take care of ourselves and to help others around us. So thank you so much for joining us, for the three of you here in this room, and Work2BWell.